Test 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's get started, I guess. Hello, welcome to day 2 of Space Engineer stream. I know it's awful as always, and the weather is. Let's get started, I guess. Hello, welcome. Oh, I messed up, huh? I forgot to mute the damn thing. Anyway, where was I? Day 2. Well, day in this game is set to 2 hours, so, and last time I played an hour and a half, so it might be that be day 2, but here I am. Well, let's see. Last time I left off at docking the rover. I finished up and put all the tools away. So let's start. So let's. I'm really bad at this. I don't know what to say and what to do. Yeah, I need to try out more. Oh yeah, well today I guess I'll set up and build a mining drone because a full-out mining flyer is a bit expensive and drones are way cheaper to do about before. But usually I convert rover into the mining rover, but seeing as the terrain is really rough, that's not really a good way to go about. The steeper they are, more likely to roll over and lose everything. I'd rather not do that. Production, the cobalt iron. And I guess after that I'll have to build the scout drone and find out more cobalt so I can actually build more stuff that's required. With a metal grid, I need those to build thrusters and more cargo containers. I have to do something about the turning radius in this car. Probably because of two rear wheels, I set it to non-steering. It's way too wide to turn. But one of the reasons I didn't want to put this steering on the rear wheel is that I don't want it to turn it too quickly. I don't want it to roll it over. Doesn't make that much of a difference, but a little bit helps. So I didn't stream yesterday because of the stream time I usually do. There was a stream from a streamer I always watch. It overlapped, so I didn't do a stream. Not that it mattered that much, but instead I basically spent time thinking back. No, not thinking back, rewatching the streams I did twice before. And wow, I can't really talk. Basically reminisce about the things I did, looking back, what I did right and what I did wrong. I basically did nothing right and everything wrong. I'm really bad at talking. I don't know what to say and playing the game at the same time and trying to think what to say. Dancing is really hassle. I guess you need more practice on stuff, I guess. Typically, I guess streamers usually buy some time basically by relying on the either catchphrase or routine or either character backstory or personal backstory, but I don't have any of that, so I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say, I don't know what to be. You know, I'm lost. I'm not good at this. But the whole point of this is just to get the hang of it, I guess. So basically very first stream was a test. Well, half of them are on archive and half of them are daily live stream. But those were two tests. the hardware and that to see if I could actually stream or not. Then the last two, including this one, third one, is to see if I can actually stream as a streamer. Because, well, so far I'm not cut out to be a streamer, I guess. Not really. The whole reason I do this is so I can try something different. Try something I know I can sort of do for the past 10 years, didn't quite work out. Still is not working out, but... And this one probably won't work either, but... If I think this as a hobby, it kind of works out. Doing something that's quite different from what I would normally do. It's a good practice for talking nonsense, I guess.
Fuel low.
Shit, I forgot to put.
Fuel critical.
Wow, this is what happens when I'm talking. Trying to talk and play at the same time. I forgot the obvious things I could bring up my hydrogen bottle. So I can actually fly it back. Now I can't fly it back, so I don't know. I need to get used to, I need to get more used to doing multitasking, but that's kind of getting harder because I'm getting old. And stop talking for a second so I can actually grab the damn thing. Batteries. So there was a too bad try again card. Yeah, they're most common. Where's the other container? Stop rolling. Better grind at least. How the hell do I get back though? I'm 4 kilometers away from the 3 hydrogen. Walking speed 10 meters per second. So that's 400 seconds, which is 7 minutes, a little under 7 minutes. Yeah, that's so bad. Screwed up too much. Where was I? I don't know. From what I see from the very few streams I actually watch, basically people, when there's like a lull in the game, they talk about stuff. I don't have anything to talk about. I'll make some weird noises, I guess. They won't usually buy that 3 seconds. I guess I could whistle, but I don't know what to whistle. And last time I whistled something, I got a asteroid strike from some random song I never heard about. I used the same tune as the sample that I whistled. I'd rather not deal with any things like that. Let's see, what can I actually talk about? I guess I can talk about why I chose this game and Half-Life 2 as the first two to So this game is something I know pretty well. I played it a lot. And I played a lot recently. So it's the game that both has for me to a lot to talk about and for me to a lot to play around about. And seeing as it's a sandbox type game, there's a lot of room for me to play as I play it instead of having a right way to play it, it's more open-ended. So I thought this would be a good start for it, even though it's not really a most exciting game to watch. Seeing as me falling to death. That could have gone much worse. And the Half-Life, the other hand, it's a game I've read a lot about because it's like one of the cornerstones of the genre convention of that certain type of games. There's also basically from I'm a computer game science major and I read a lot about computer game design and Half-Life 2 Half-Life in general in any Valve game. There's a lot of things that done right. And in game they even had that commentary um, from the designers and that thing. And definitely I read it. I'll spend some time reading about it as one would normally do. The problem is that though knowing something and talking about something and conveying the meaning behind it correctly is a totally different thing. On top of that, I'm not really good at talking. As you can see, I'm not really good at socializing, and I'm rarely talk in real life too. So probably the one stream, probably what I talked about so far, is more talking I did than I would normally do in a week or two in real life. Well, wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Oh, yeah, so Half-Life 2, I know I have a lot to say about it, but I haven't played that game in a while, so I'm not that good at it. So trying to think what to say and trying to play, and at the same time trying to talk, it's a kind of hard to deal with. I'm not good at it. I need more practice.
Fuel critical.
I guess one way to do is to basically write out what to say beforehand, but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of the live streaming. The other one would be I don't know. Take take less focus on the game itself. Then why play the game at that point? And the other one would be play something like Space Engineers that's more open-ended. I can just say what I'm doing, explain what I'm doing, go on about it after that. And I don't know. Even then, why would anyone want to watch that? So what's the problem? Also, one thing I noticed about the rewatching the stream I did on Half-Life 2 is I don't know when to talk and when not to talk. There was a lot of times I talked over stuff, and there's a lot of times I couldn't hear either me or what the game was doing because I was talking. Which is not a good deal. It'd be nice if I could actually monitor what I'm saying as the stream is going on, but then I need to split the sound out and route it through the either I guess a phone, or headphone or speaker, using the split the sound setting and the voice, then mute it on the OBS. But then I would need some more. Even then, I can't really hear at the same time. There's a delay, and then there's obviously distracted. Not really a good solution. All I can rely on right now is just a meter going up and down. Make sure it doesn't go over the yellow line, and make sure it doesn't go under the first minus 50 decibel or whatever that is. The lower third of the green bar. I don't know. Never really done something like this before in my life anyway, so we'll see how it goes. Then one might ask, why would I do this live? Main reason is that if I try to motivate, it's basically why would I stream it live on public instead of doing the recording and editing like normally people would do something like this? One of the reason is the motivation basically. When back in like back in like 5 or so years ago, I tried to do some video editing and some recording. No, I'm gonna. When I tried to do recording and stuff, I found myself lack of motivation. I basically didn't do it. I planned everything out. I'm gonna do this and this and this, and set aside the time to do it. Then I don't do it. I couldn't get myself up to basically get out of bed and set everything up and recording. Put a lot of time into it. So I couldn't really do it. But well, things are changing a little bit thanks to the first person I watch. But I need to rush myself about this. What was I? basically putting up on public. I'm pressuring myself to do this externally instead of motivating myself internally, saying that I need to do this, I want to do this, and I better do this. I don't think if I put it to public, I don't know. It's kind of mix of a stage fright and being embarrassed. Make me wanna make me not really wanna, but make me force my hands to do it. You know, I have a better time motivating myself to do something when it's rather than it's for me, but when it's for someone else. I had a better time to actually get to do it because when it's just to meet myself, I could rationalize it as I don't really need to do this, but when it's for that public, well, it's not really for public at this point, but eventually. But when I doing something for others, like a group project, I don't want to let others down, you know. I wouldn't want anyone else to let me down in the group project, so I wouldn't want to let others down in other groups. It's kind of weird feeling. I don't know how to say this. And it probably sounds really shallow if I hear it from other side, because I have very
Fuel critical.
bad sense of socializing. I'm really not that person to actually convey what I say straightly. Wow, I'm getting really sidetracked on this. Oh yeah, so that's Space Engineer, something I know, something I can play well, a lot of room to play. Half-Life, something I know it well, but I don't know how to play that well, and it's more of a more or less um what do you call those English come on. More of us following the set track, so I would thought it would have more better time to actually say what's going on the screen. The other game I'm probably gonna play tomorrow or so is War Thunder. It's kind of middle ground of two. I sort of know what's going on. There's a sort of things going on that I can talk about, and there's a sort of freedom to play differently. Oh no, I'm back to research. Yeah, so probably play War Thunder tomorrow, and day after that probably finish up the Half-Life Haven alone. Yeah, where was I? Alright, I forgot to say the one more thing. So, did I not add it? I guess I didn't. Oh shit, my mode. One thing I was planning to add was a wing mode. Since seeing as I'm like in the hillside on the mountainside, bit of a height, really rough terrain. But I didn't want to make a full-fledged flyer ship because that takes a lot of resources, and I don't have that much resources at the moment. And probably just not. So probably thought I could use the wing mode and sort of glide down and use the one thruster to glide back up and scout the ore deposit that way. Did I not really add the mod? I thought I'd add the fly. I guess I'll stop. I'll pause the stream for a second and reload in and check the mod using one side of the mining drone build. It shouldn't take too long. It should be about 30 minutes maybe. Should we speed build my hydrogen? Let's see. I wrote down something to talk about because last time I didn't talk for a long time between the games, and even when I talk nonsense. Not that I'm not doing that this time, but Not that I'm talking in more sense this time, but basically rehearsing what to say beforehand in your head, even though it's just the vaguest idea of it, sort of helps, I guess. Even though I'm rambling on right now because I don't know what to say. I'm really bad at this. One more. One other thing I noticed was the camera movement. I'm so used to like I just zooming it left and right to see them. But when you see it from the other end, other side of the screen, it's really hard to see what's going on. And my hardware is not good enough to actually encode and send it over without actually everything getting blurry.
Inventory full.
One of the downside of having a high mouse sensitivity because I have a like a 5 centimeter wide gap that I can move my mouse on because of my desk is really cramped. And I wanted to move like a 2 centimeter and go to the one end of the screen, then go to the other end of the screen, moving like only 2 centimeters or so. So my sensitivity is really high. That's really high. I guess it's not ideal for streaming. Yeah. And another thing is that I'm upscaling the screen because my monitor doesn't even support 1080p. My screen resolution 12080 by 720 or whatever that is. No, not 720. 800? Yeah, 1280 by 800 resolution. And I'm trying to send it over to YouTube as a 1080, which recommends 1920 by 1080, whatever the resolution is. So I'm basically upscaling the screen in the OBS and sending it over. Might be when I tested it. So basically, I tested the streaming at 720 with the native resolution I have, then streaming at 1080 as the current setting, the loading up size in OBS. 1080 was slightly better. I don't know by how much. I can't really tell by how much because my monitor doesn't really support 1080. So I'm watching it at 720 anyway. Yeah, so luckily my internet is good enough to streaming at higher bitrate. Unfortunately, my hardware is not good enough to streaming at better resolution. I mean, not streaming, encoding it at the better resolution. It's kind of putting at the limit of what I can do. There's probably a better way to set these up, but I don't know too well about set these up. I'm just following the guideline and then around with. Alright, so gotta make the drone. Probably gonna be a 2 medium cargo with a remote and a gyro. Then we have a connector, battery. Looks like a 2. And we're gonna have a lot of small thrusters. The build time only goes up to this here, so I'll just use that. And start building. Cold so I'll just rid of that. Get a little bit of platform so I can build on top of it. On a nice flat area. So I'll start with the landing gear, as always. Probably the simplest shape, the rectangle with the thrusters on the side. Yeah, so one thing game doesn't really tell you about is how big of the cargo space per how much thrust. So one of the main reason I always use the build info is it tells you a lot of information the game doesn't tell you. So on the right side, you see the when the cargo container is selected, you can tell say la 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 la. You can see the cargo man empty to the full depending on the density of the item. And 4 is not really that heavy, not that dense, so somewhere in the middle ground of that thing would work. Uh, then if you select the thruster now it tells you the max force the thruster is giving you. And since we are at the Earth, it's a gravity of 1 g, 9.81 centimeters per second. No, 9.81 meters per second square. Meters. I can't talk to that. Whatever. So it's about roughly 10, and since it's giving you 176 kilonewton, it translates roughly to 57 tons. So one of these should be able to handle uh, half, 2/3 of it at full, but that's assuming the density of the object is really high. Or is or let me just show you this. Oh, it doesn't really tell you the per. Oh, it is. I think it was like 0.22 kilogram per meter. Oh, this is problem. I usually do it by the feel instead of all the numbers because I've been playing for like 3,000 hours. I don't know. If it doesn't fly, I'll rebuild it because I don't have to worry about the resource getting lost. I'm really bad at this. I should have prepared it more, but oh well. I'm really bad at this. So I'm gonna have a battery and the thruster downward on one side. I'm gonna put all the rest of the thruster front and back and side. Like so. I'm gonna connect to the. I'm gonna put a remote block here. Make sure they're facing the front. If you look at the picture, you can see which is the right orientation. You match up the shapes basically. You don't want to drive the ship backwards all the time. Then I'm gonna need to convey up with the drill. First, I'm gonna use the drill. Ores are small items, so they can pass through the small cargo containers, so it's easily to find. Oops. Oh, I forgot to do the. One second. So what I forgot to do is basically recording the game audio without the mic audio, so I can actually reuse the footage when I later at the editing of this thing. Basically, I run the Audacity for capturing the audio sound of speaker output on me. That way, I can record the game session without my microphone. Let's see, number 2. Not the best way of doing things, but it does its job, so yeah. Oh shit, I should actually build the remote control first, otherwise I can't reach that in. start welding. And tedious, not very fun to watch, and not very pleasing with the refinery running in the background, clunking around. Oh well, not too much about it. Yeah, ideally I would have it set up so that I can control the volume independently. So when I'm talking, the game sound will go down a bit. And when I looked into it, basically either most way of doing it, software or hardware. Spend money on it, and I don't have money. I have a 32 cents in my account. Yeah, oh well. For my mental wellness and all this. I'm just passing time because I don't have it. I'm using the time I usually spend on the either resting or what? Oh, this is a large group. No wonder it was like way too big. I mean, not way too big. Pulling way too many steel plates. Oh, I don't have a metal group. What do I do? I don't know if they'll help though. I have a lot of them. It's only gonna give you very little. So I have to build a rover mine or go find some cobalt somewhere. Man, this is what I get for not playing the game for a year. Like, play it without planning at all. Well, it's good to know what's gonna watch this. I only have to embarrass myself. Waste time of only myself. For a change of plan, I'm gonna put a battery in the base to charge when I'm done. And I'm gonna convert this a bit more so I can actually explore a bit more easily. Right, so let's see. Battery large grid this time. Why not? Thought I'd put it in. Okay, I guess already disassembled everything they could. Power cell. Radio. Yes, the first. Let's put it here. Then I'm gonna do a really lazy way of doing this, which is the welder. Motor. This is really a lazy way of doing things. So this will continually feed the parts in as the assembler builds more without me actually having to do anything. And while the welder is doing its job, I can actually use that time working on the rover. So I'm gonna replace the seat with the actual control seat. Control the cockpit. So I don't have to do all this, the the remote control back and forth to get it working. Make sure the seat is empty so I don't splatter all the items inside everywhere. Grind this out. And I'm gonna put the cockpit line up with the conveyor port here, so it's hooked up to the oxygen hydrate. Although I don't have many ice left, I don't think, so maybe not the, maybe need to be more conscious about the wasting of the oxygen like that. Put here. Pull the parts, computer and computer. And they need to like add a button that says compress all the parts into one file instead of having it everywhere. Because when you queue them by the build queue, basically the way they do it, put all the parts on the first block into queue, then second block, third block, even though there's a lot of overlaps of the parts in the requirements. It's really messy. Oh well, I'll deal with it later. Right, so make sure I don't waste any oxygen. I'm gonna turn the H2 off. I'm gonna feed the oxygen into the cockpit with the vents. And do I not have the vent lock unlocked? This is why the progression system is kind of arbitrary. It doesn't really follow the progression of the build at all. O2 generator. It sort of makes sense on the outside of gameplay because you need to put the parts that needs the other part first. That's the work. So in the example, hydrogen thrusters need a hydrogen, so you need to build a hydrogen tank. To build hydrogen tank, you need to know how to make hydrogen first. There's some logic to it, but in gameplay, in experience of gameplay itself, when you're playing it, it doesn't really feel right. Just all that it matters in the gameplay design. Doesn't really matter what the intentions are. Doesn't really matter how much thought you put it into it. When you're actually getting down to playing it, it feels either frustrating, boring, or not entertaining. What have you? Then it failed at a gameplay design. More models. Well, I could say the same thing about streaming too. It's basically the same idea. They're both entertainment. And even knowing how to entertain people in theory and gameplay design, I have no idea or skill, experience, what have you, to actually do that when streaming. It's kind of problematic, I guess. Alright, where was it? Handbrake on off, vent, maybe set the vent to depressurize so it will draw the air from outside in. You can see the oxygen inventory of the cockpit is later and it's full. Connect. Which one is it? This one. I don't need to worry about that. I don't need to worry about that. Need to put them in the bar so I can control them together. So I don't remember exactly when. I think it was like a year or two ago. They patched the power consumption on the wheel, so it draws considerably more compared to before. So you wanna lower the power as low as possible while being able to drive it. You want it Then strength. This is helpful when your weight changes a lot, or you need to go with rough terrain versus flat terrain actually, and how rough the not the rough, how fast you're traveling. So rougher the train gets, lower the strength. Higher the speed, higher the speed you get, higher the strength. Heavier you get, higher the strength. It's obvious stuff. Alright, so I'm gonna go find first of all GPS base. So I know where to come back to. I'm gonna drive down or drive around a bit to find the cobalt. I'm gonna lower the power a bit. Sun is rising. That means that we are at the 30-minute mark. Let's see. This is gonna be that. Go to the unknown signal, direction of unknown signal, something like that. Since that only we have a lead to go on about where to find the ore patch. Thomas what? Oh. That was a short trip. I'm gonna CPS, iron, cobalt, and nickel. So I'm gonna drive to go get the unknown signal, but if I if that's the end of the driving, the kind of feels shallow. Watch out for the weird jacket net in the terrain. Watch out for the belly. No. That should do it. Should be able to make a little detour to the towards the mountain and go down and up on the side. Since the car is mostly empty, should be able to handle up to about 55 degrees of slope. When you're like a full, it will depend on how many wheels are touching the ground and how many wheels you have compared to the weight, but usually the limit is like 15 degrees the more heavier you get. Sorry about that. No, not good, but lower strength, higher friction, lower strength. Top shy, the rest of the setting. Well, this is what I get for playing while talking. I need to get better at multitasking. Friction, lower the power, so the wheel has a better time of actually moving, traveling over the gap. And now I'm wedged. Should have put a gyro in there, so I can actually do the thing. More power. Raise the thing. And I'm stupid. This is off to a good start, huh? Yeah, when you actually get out of the car, or I mean, the terrain's a lot steeper than up here. Because you're not aligned to the gravity, you're aligned to your seat position, your camera is. If I bottom out at high speed, it's gonna break the block, which is not a good idea. Probably at a later point I'll modify a bit more and raise the whole chassis by up one up block. No. Raise the chassis up a block. Okay, my English bad. Oops, don't go in high speed. The collision calculation gets a little different when you're getting compared to the collision calculation gets a little different when you're above certain speed. compared to when you're lower speed, because they built some shortcuts, some calculations to make the game actually playable. It used to be really slow and buggy in a planet with the wheels and many small grid moving. Speed. Okay. Up the power, up for strength a bit. So I don't actually bottom out. And this is a rough. But if I put enough speed on it, should be able to clear it. So the car is pretty light at the moment, and that's it. Max friction, max power, lower the strength. Okay, that was yeah, the way the wheel works is not same as real life, so there's a lot of leeway on the traversing a terrain like that. In real life, without the actual like advanced suspension, people deal with the borders and hinges and whatnot. That part would not be a navigable, whatever. But as long as some wheels are touching, you'll act like a thruster is on. You'll carry through, assuming you're not too heavy. And I'm gonna feel so embarrassed when I watch this stream later to check on what I actually did. I talked so badly. But there's so many gibberishes, so many mistakes, so many nonsense. Well, you can't really get better unless you start. Well, everyone gotta start somewhere. And I don't have much talent on the things like these, so it's gonna be bad. And you know when you knew that, I knew that when I started it. Just deal with it, move on, get more practice, it will get better at one point. As long as I do put thoughts and efforts and practice into. Oh, let's see, getting back up might be harder than getting down here. Yeah, that's a lot more steeper than I thought. Might not be able to get back up. This is a bit of a problem. This is the only survival kit I have. And I cannot make a survival kit until I find the silver. And I haven't found silver yet. Haven't really only found the cobalt and nickel and iron. No. Power. Okay, why did I thought this might work? Clear this part out. Then I clear this. And I'll drop down on this way, which is fine-ish. Yeah, this should do. When you do something like that, like getting out and to drill out parts to make your car unstuck, make sure you put the handbrake on before you're getting out of the car. You don't want the car to roll down the moment you clear the obstruction and leaving you behind. Rolling down and braking after running into some other bits of the terrain. Okay, now the front wheel is stuck, refusing to go up this slope, so I lower the power, which makes it easier to clear. The power back on so I don't bottom out. Okay. I got down from the left side over there, I think, so that might be the easiest way to approach. power so I don't slide backward, lower the strength a bit so I can actually go over the bumps easier. And friction is set to 100%. When you're cruising, lower friction is a bit better, because you don't slow down as much. But right now, I don't have any kind of speed I built up anyway, and I need all the friction I can get over the slope. Let's see, let me just check. So this is 40-degree upscale. This here should be like 60. This is 20? 35. This is actually shallower than that. This is not gonna work. Come on, go up. No. No, this is... I got stuck. Power. Right, yeah, I'm completely wedged. Oh, I locked. I left the auto lock on for some... Yeah, this is what I get for trying to talk in stream and try to take care of our stuff. I missed all the little stuff. No. Yeah, if I roll over here, that'll be the end of the play session. End of this survival stream. So this is the only survival kit I have. Be more careful about what I do with it. Instead of driving around in the cliffside, in the rover with the no gyro. Whatever. Alright. Go get some cobalts. Process that, build a drone. Use that drone to mine more. And continue the cycle of a space engine. Mine, process, build, mine, process, build, mine, process, build until the end of the time or end of the session. Let's see, 30 meters down. Yes. If I build a platform here and beak to the side, it might work better instead of parking on this hillside like this. Cobalt is slightly lower than me. Let's get it here. Make sure I don't actually run over the edge and fall to my death. Should do. Then I'll park you over here. It's a nice slope. Not the nice. Instead of at the slope, the flat area, flat section. I should smooth out this side. Extend this out a little bit. So I'll have an easier time actually getting them on and off like this. Alright, back on. Should have emptied the car before I left. I don't think I emptied it. There's a lot of parts in here still. Oh well. What is down? Wasn't it down over there too? 24 meter, about 50 degrees. Yeah, it should be there if I dig down. And they say that they don't have people say in the math class, when will I ever use this in real life? This is how you use it in real life, basic trick. And well, I guess it's a more vector. Either way, you just get the two side and the angle and roughly estimate where things gonna be. You don't have to directly calculate anything, just line them up and just eyeball it, and that should be enough for most cases anyway. You can do the same thing when you try to measure how wide the river is without actually crossing it. Basically, pick a point, look at it, and walk until you are 45 degrees to it. Then you get the same distance from point where you're standing to the point you're looking at on the other side, as compared to point you started and you walked to, and there will be the same length because of the isometric triangle. I used to use that every now and then when I used to build a lot of stuff in Minecraft. You can kind of measure out how tall something gonna be, how wide, sort of thing. We wanna play Minecraft now, but I know if I start playing Minecraft right now, I'll only play the Minecraft, and yeah, it happened last time too. I basically abandoned schoolwork, abandoned friendship, abandoned work I had to do. Only reason I got out of the Minecraft was because of the job I got into was very interesting to me. It was almost a semi-dream job. Teaching kids about no, not necessarily has to be kids, but teaching others about what I know using Legos, which was really fun. Unfortunately, they only lasted for about a year, and I had to move. Wait, why am I talking about my backstory? Yeah, because yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter too much because one of the things because I'm novice at streaming. One of the axiom I guess axiom that I set out to do is not talking about myself. Because this is internet and you don't know who's gonna see it later, who's gonna use that information later. That's why I don't say my name, my age, or what I have. I mean, that's not the best approach to have this in things like this because you're putting yourself out in public. You do have to put out part of yourself in the public to make it work. I mean, that's like a main appeal of watching a streamer, right? It's like we're getting to know that person, you know. But yeah, I decided that I will be more cautious this time around. New this whole thing. It'll be easier to deal with, less toll on my mind, I guess, if I just let out say no on a lot of things. Like my backstory. I don't have backstory because I'm not a character. And but yeah, I meant the backstory? No, back history. No. Damn it, why is my brain not working today? My English is like failing. All the English is not my first language. It's to be expected somewhat, but this is too much. You can say the basic lines. I'm not brain.
Inventory full.
Okay, my past. Yeah. Don't talk about my past. Oh well, but it shouldn't hurt. I like figuring things out. I like how things come together. So just playing with the Lego and trying to figure out how to not only make it work, but how to teach that to other person who have no idea what I'm talking about. I spent so much time on it. I worked a lot of overtime without pay. A lot of extra work. It was fun, but
Inventory full.
like a lot of things in my life just didn't work out at the end. Yeah. Oh well. Maybe I wanna play with the Lego again. The Lego Mindstorm is like $300 just basic. And I'll probably need a 2 kit plus batteries and other accessories. I don't have that kind of money. I never had it. Yeah, so it's not gonna work. Anyway, that should be enough cobalt, I think. I don't need that many because I only need like 12 or so metal grid for small thrusters. And how many was it? 12? I don't know. Wait, where did I? Yeah, I don't need that much cobalt to make small thrusters. Okay, up we go. You know what? I'm gonna put the steering back on and make that feel a little bit. Because the turning radius is way too high. Just a little better. But probably better if I put a gyroscope on it, because it's cheap in a sense and just roll it. Anyway, let's finish this. Refinery, cobalt. We're still building a battery for some reason. Right on time. So let's check. Input, output, charging in 3 hours, that's good. I'll get rid of the welder. Actually, I could do the same thing on this side too. Just roll this up, the welder. Instead of my hand welder. But then I have to position this more correctly, more in line with the blocks. Because right now I put it too close to this port here, so I cannot put an extra block. Yeah. Well. No plan. This is what I get for not thinking things out in beforehand. So slightly faster, less waiting. Construction component is out now. Huh? Well, we have plenty. Yeah, the build planner is sort of like, even though there is a part in the grid, I'm guessing it's working by searching for the items in queue, and and just stops the search after a while, after a certain amount of time, to prevent it from getting stuck or something. Because if you have like multiple grid connected to each other, it might search, then go over, then might go come back and search again and then loop. Because technically those are separate entities. I don't know. I never looked. It's not like I have ever looked at the code they have in the game. And if I talk for too long, I'm probably gonna get everything wrong. And you know what happens when you get something wrong. Oh well. It's not like I haven't said anything wrong this stream so far. I probably made a lot of mistakes already, so it's kind of moot point. I'm out of power cell. Production power cell, come on. Yeah, eventually I'll put like a script on it, inventory manager script, so I don't have to worry about the parts. I don't want to babysit the. I mean, babysitting the assembler is like the last thing I want to do. So tedious. Yeah. What am I missing? Wait, are we out? No, we have plenty. Why are you not? Come on. Pulling in the resources for building that thing. We have enough. Cobalt. But we're out of silicon. Really. Silicon. There's a bonus. I'll do that for now. Not the best way of doing things, but yeah. Let me empty out the rover. So show only the current ship. Then you show only the cargo you want to empty out of to. And you just actually name the cargo. Then you go to set only, and I press that, and you should empty everything that is ore and ingot or component into that. Quick way of emptying out the mining ship. The better way would be using a sorters or program block and run a script or pull everything in and connect the ship, but that takes the extra resources in both terms of in-game resources and game program resources. Not by much, but yeah, every little bit helps a bit. Every saving measure helps. Just show it when the game stuff is not the best my one anyway. Okay, I'm out of these. Build 20 of these, please. I should be able to build all of it because whatever's on the queue is all the silicon new, and this is all the silicon that this assembler developed too. Should be fine. Did I miss anything? 1, 2, 4, backward connector, cargo, hooked up, gyro, left and right, up, remotes. What did I miss? Oh, I'm missing a camera. Okay, really? I'm not unlocked. I have not unlocked this thing. Why? Where is it? Oh man. I need to build the battery. Didn't I build the battery? Because it's... Yeah, because I didn't build it, the welder built it. It does not count as my progress. Even the welder belongs to me and the block. Such a stupid thing, but... You gotta give them you gotta cut them with a little slack because a lot of things in Space Engineer is added on after as an afterthought. Like a lot of blocks was not meant to be in the base engine, which is a Havoc, I think. They modified it into what's the name? V-Ray, they think, into so they can actually make their game work. What am I missing? Oh, antenna. I'm missing antenna. So one of the basic things I need. Really? I don't have antenna? Really? Antenna, beacon. Why? Why? Space Engine is as much fun as much fun I have on this game. It's just sometimes it's just the worst. A lot of things are kind of frustrating. Very well. Cool. Let's see, I'm at the 1 hour mark. Probably 30 more minutes. So I guess I'll do the because I'm at the awkward point that I wanted to build a wing vehicle, but shutting it down and turning it on again kind of killed the flow. Not that I had a much blood to begin with, but yeah. Okay, now. I don't need the beacon on. And 200 should do fine because I'm gonna be on the visual range anyway. Alright, let's control. Shift K will bring up the remote access. Press control. 56 ton, which means the one cluster is not enough. It might be able to just float, but I don't think it will be able to carry that much more at all, especially if we are all high up in the altitude. Air thinner, the thruster will bit less efficiency. Here, it flies fine. Oh, okay, never mind. It was the landing gear bug. So basically, when you're connected to the landing gear, to prevent the whole grid from drifting downward because of the extra weight of the separate grid, they sort of treat the landing gear of grid as the one. So sometimes the information shows the whole connected map instead of a actual grid you're looking at. Then just a second. Let's see. I could put a seat in here so and actually fly that, but at that point I'll just control seat on it. Let's see, what should I do with it? I think I could put a connector here. It's just gonna look very unorthodox. Oh, I didn't do the responsive thing. Yeah, I guess I'll do that now. So basically, you know how I said the landing gear treats the grid connected by landing gear as the one. This is basically the same using that idea to convert this into the non-spawn ship. So if I just took like a landing gear down and from merge in it, this will still. I mean, no, that's the other one. If I just put more blocks onto this whole thing will still be the respawn ship entity. So adding more block, however many you add on to it, it will still be a respawn ship and it will destroy. It will get cleaned up when you respawn the another one. But to prevent that from happening, we need to convert that into different grid that is not. I can't talk. That is not a spawner ship. And to do that, we use the landing gear and a merge block. So for landing gear in some grid, usually a large grid of base or something, that is sizable, so whenever the merge happens, it will overwrite the other grid. Then, what should I put it? From this side, yeah, let's put it from this side. Where's my merge block? It's really odd they put the merge block under the piston. But I guess that sort of makes sense. You usually use piston to merge stuff. more or less. And I'm gonna put a little extra space here to prevent it from like clanging out. It's pretty high. I'll put it like this. Will they line up? Unless I, it will not line up unless I put the whole thing over there. Ah, that didn't work. Where's my grinder? Let me grind it. Okay, 1, 2. This is a trick. I don't remember exactly where. I'm pretty sure it was split Discord. Someone found out that you could do this, and I've been using it ever since. Thank you for that person who discovered this. Otherwise, it'd be such a waste to grind down the rover, especially when you have a mod that makes all the deconstructed parts into scraps and very low yield setup with the refining. It saves a lot of resources to be able to just convert the rover into the starting rover into the something you can use for urban over. Oh, that's too high. Yeah, if I lower the power and the strength of the wheel, it'll bring it down a bit. And I'm misaligned. Okay. There we go. Now we don't get that message anymore, since as these are merged. Instead of adding onto this ship, basically what happens is that it creates a separate third entity that is a combination of the both grid. So this one is no longer a respawn ship. Okay. The block targeting in this game is kind of weird. It targets the block that you're not looking at, or block you're looking at beyond the block actually looking at. Alright, where was I? So I'm gonna carry this on top of you by doing really messy. This is not the best way of doing things, but since they have a small port here and a small port there, it should be able to transfer the ore. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I grind down the top of this a little bit, I should be able to get the top of this without much hassle. But I got to make sure I don't fry the survivor kit with my thrusters when I land on top of it. It'll be bad. I cannot repair it at this stage of this game. Alright. Let's bring it up. Control gear up. Up there, 6 o'clock. Remote. Control. There's the autopilot collision. Down. Control thrusters are off, so I don't. So when I don't want it, make sure the thruster's not doing anything. Because I don't want it to auto dampen it and bring everything get bad. Should get rid of that. Maybe I should raise the connector up a bit by one instead of grinding them down. Yeah, if I raise it up, it should be like here. This might cook the wheel a bit, but yeah. Well, I really should set the drone down
Fuel
for
low.
doing construction work. But oh well, power is not an issue. I agree. Jump on a wheel. Jump on a wheel. Come on, jump on a wheel. Connector on top of that.
Fuel critical.
You're in the way a bit. Oh, look at my arm.
Fuel critical.
They still haven't fixed that thing? It's been there for a long time. So, why not?
Fuel critical.
Yeah, I heard the first time. Let's see if that one works or not.
Fuel critical.
Extra landing gear on the bottom of this works fine. Yeah.
Fuel critical.
This is like one of the worst thing I did. Oh well. Well, I guess not the worst. I would build worse. All no function, right? How should I do this? Yep. Control. Let's go.
Fuel critical.
Thruster control off so you don't burn up the thing. Yeah, that works.
Fuel critical.
Alright, let's do a trial run. I don't think I need that many iron, but it's already dug up, so I'll start from there. I don't have to do any extra digging.
Fuel critical.
Oh yeah, I forgot to put camera on. Camera. Huh? Okay. I don't have computer. 1 second. Well, like 10 seconds, but. Got the camera, now put on the camera part. Got the camera part, put on the camera. La la la. I really need to practice talking more now. And probably eventually get a character of who am I, who I want to be. Alright, let's see. Control. Remote probably set to the main camera so it automatically shows up when I go into control. Here, I got a new one, so I'll change it out. Camera view. Alright, damper on. Control thruster. On mouse. Look at the camera. Fly around. Make sure I don't hit down forward or backward too much because I don't have that many thruster in that direction. Keep the relatively level. I forgot to put a real control. One is on and off, and the other one is let me control the grill by mouse. Oh, I forgot to put a light on it.
Fuel critical.
I guess I'll use my headlight with the light. Yeah, not ideal. Very stuck. I should have put a ejector with a solder too, so I can eject out the stone. But right now I do need the stone because I need a silicon component. I will just use that. All the stones I can get. Yeah, so you can either look at the camera or you can look at your one eye like this. It's beneficial every now and then to switch. Because looking through the camera is very restricted. See, you're leaning forward too much because you don't have thrusters on that direction that much. Did I break something already? No, keep it level. Not full yet. Down to 7 minutes of power. But the hovering takes up more. Keep it level. It's really you gotta look at the little what do you call those? Artificial horizon thing on the right side, right bottom of your toolbar. Because you're looking at an angle, it's very misleading if you actually level or not. I think that's enough. No. Ah, shit. Yeah, I got it heavy. I think I do need either more gyro or more thrusters. Alright, look at the camera. We're just out of this. No. This is a bad design, you know. But this is a cheap design. Yeah, it might. It's like when you're digging like this, it's good idea to have an extra room. Too heavy. Yeah, it's too heavy. Too heavy.
Fuel critical.
I messed up. messed up.
Fuel critical.
That sucks. What now? Shit. Come on, roll yourself over. Why can't you roll yourself
critical.
over?
Fuel critical. Fuel critical.
That was dumb. That was. Yeah, because I'm digging down at an angle. Once I turned around to one side, I was a too steep one, too angle to the right, and it rolled over. And I couldn't correct it because the thruster on that side is way too weak compared to the
Inventory
weight
full.
of the whole thing. Which means I need to add more thrusters, but this was supposed to be cheap and easy one, and I messed up. It usually works. It usually works. But this time it was too. It was the I came down at an angle too much.
Fuel critical.
This is gonna be hard to control because I'm looking at a.
Fuel critical.
Alright.
Fuel critical.
And I changed it over to this must be like a really dumb, and I'm looking look at this later.
Fuel critical.
I can't really think right now. Shit.
Fuel critical.
This was dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. What all the tricks? So I'm gonna do a. That was dumb. Come on. Great work.
Inventory full.
Come on. This was supposed to be a time save measure. And I'm wasting more time on this thing. Should've just built the. Just built the mining rover instead of mining drone. Gyro, overlay. Not enough? No? I'm upside down.
Fuel critical.
Oh, I'm stuck. Wow, 3,000 hours in DSC, and this is what I do. I'm really bad at this, you know. This is what I get for trying something I haven't done before. Well, I have done this before, but at a different area and under different circumstances. Control, dig, roll. And the camera is broken, so I can't tell that I'm looking at this right.
Fuel critical.
No. Keep it level. Okay, level. Alright, don't bump into anything. You have 2 minutes to get out. And no camera. Barely enough thrust. Keep it level. One minute to go. I have better
Critical.
angle of view.
Fuel critical.
No. Ah, shit. Ah. Okay, land. No.
Fuel critical.
You know what? I'll do a new one.
Fuel critical.
That was a colossal failure. Yeah, I'll call the stream here, and my stupidity, my lack of forethought. Well, I can't really get out of this thing because I'm out of fuel, and I don't have a drill with me. I'll just have to respawn. That was dumb. Respawn. 520. Wow, that was a really stupid. So either I can fix this, adding more thrusters, or I can build a new one. Well, I'll decide that tomorrow, or day after, I guess, because of tomorrow is not like. Or maybe I'll do one Sunday because they should be doing April Fools till tomorrow, I think, or is it today? Well, either way, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Oh my suit got turned to default. It happens every now and then when you respawn. Oh well. I guess that's it for now. I'll turn around. Do stupid dance. If I can actually do that. Oops, no. And I did no progress today. Right, that's it. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everyone. And no one, I guess.